Agree.
just being the boss and the one writing the checks. It's kind of, you think about things differently when you're the one writing the checks.
Think about things differently when you're the one writing the checks. Indeed, indeed. So that's so you let me see here. Let me see. Okay, cool. All right, all right, all right. So ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get into this soon. This is a green room conversation right now. We haven't even played the intro of the intro or anything like that. And yeah, so this gig that you have next week, what or
Next
next month you said.
hmm
What kind of a gig? A corporate gig, wedding gig? What is it?
wedding,
It's a
wedding.
wedding. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
that'll be
People
fun.
are
8-piece band, got some horns. Good times.
nice. You do like top 40 are
Yep.
there wedding songs that people typically go for, you know?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's definitely a lot of modern hits in this particular set list, but
Mm.
the couple's already married, so they just want to party. So there's no ceremony stuff happening. None of that. No formalities. It's just party dance music.
No formalities, just party dance music. Okay. Well, anyways, let's play a little bit of this intro music here, and then we're gonna come and we're gonna talk about this topic here. This topic.
Oh man, I haven't watched the video yet, so it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Uh the idea of self-improvement is okay. Here's what a couple of things one needs to know about is that there's like a $12 billion industry, $12 billion a year,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Industry around self-improvement. Something else is that a lot of self-improvement is done on social media. By that I mean, people post stuff about self-improvement, take pictures of themselves at conferences about self-improvement, and take pictures of themselves at some kind of vacation that they always wanted to go, or self-improvement, that kind of thing. And so there's that whole aspect too, where it's like a marketing campaign, a personal marketing campaign, plus a
hmm
broader marketing campaign, as I mentioned, part of a $12 billion industry, and many other things. So we're gonna get into it, ladies and gentlemen. But let's play a little bit of intro. As you guys come in, go ahead and like.
the den of iniquity. Vicinity no pretty, calamity fi hit we any moment. What a pity. Tomorrow never certain. What draws behind the curtain? The face of evil smirking with that shifty eyes averting. It's not a steady bubble that either pop or topple. Many will fall and stumble. Let the dozers gather rubble. From LA to Colorado, Guinea to Burkina Faso. Cannons will breach the towers and the troops will storm the castle. Hey, I say, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. With the rubble steady rising, and hearts are compromising. Convictions here are stifling, making evil appetizing. The fists are steady forming, and countenance is falling. Defenses are withdrawing, possibilities are falling. In these your circumstances, evil will make advances. Pick up your sword and lances, and be sure to take your stances. Victory is never promised, the battle is upon us. Gather the brave and honest, and the righteous in your corners.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Brini Lee says she is no longer improving herself. She says she's gonna just let the chips fall where they may. She's just gonna let it loose and let it rip, okay? Now, this brings a lot of things to mind. Well, first of all, she is, it could be said, in the self-improvement industry herself, right? The part of the $12 billion self-improvement industry. Would you say Brini Lee is part of that a little bit, or no, Joan?
I would say from the videos I've seen, no. That's like the facade of self-improvement, but she doesn't really tell you how to do it.
Okay, but she's in the industry. She's marketing it. She's putting product out there in terms of video and whatnot, and she is getting status, cachet, money from this. Are we fair in saying that so far?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I felt like my channel was all about self-improvement, but it's more than just like, sharing experiences and things like that, and which she does from the videos I've seen, but it's also, self-awareness, which is something I don't think self-improvement people talk about enough. Like, I think it starts from there. And I read a lot of these books, and I'll try different types of people, like different kinds of guru types and different ways of expressing the same idea of enlightenment, but it all just starts with your self-awareness. That's where it is, and I think that's something that people don't work on enough.
Okay, so let's lay down a couple of things before we start playing this video, okay? Number one, there is a $12 billion industry out there around the self-improvement phrase. And it includes people buying tickets or software or courses or books, as you had mentioned, okay, consuming all this kinds of information from people like Tony Robbins and Deepak Chopra and whatnot. It also includes your therapist, perhaps, okay? A lot of people whom are giving therapy out there, especially these new therapy apps like BetterHelp and whatnot, they're also in the self-improvement industry. Big Pharma is in the self-improvement industry as well. And I believe that'll probably expand the $12 billion that I'm talking about into something more like $20 billion, right? In terms of, so the industry, so far, have I said anything crazy? There's a self-improvement industry. You would put all these kinds of people that I mentioned, like Tony Robbins or whomever, as part of that industry, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of my books are all about self-improvement in different ways, whether it's financially or mentally or spiritually. I mean, it's a lot of people can talk about self-improvement, so it's just I mean, I think from my experience, it just comes down to who do you relate to the most, as far as like the authors and the speakers. I mean, not everybody's relatable, even though they're all talking about the same thing. Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle and was that said Guru guy or whatever? I forgot. I don't know how to say his name. They all talk about the same thing. They just have a different language of expressing it.
Okay, so let's put the second thing on the table, because the first thing on the table is there's a $12 billion industry out there around self-improvement. The second thing on the table is it is some kind of an individualistic, self-centered kind of a modern religion, in the sense that people use it for assuaging their anxiety, for example, for dealing with meaning, with guilt, with sin, with redemption, right? All these things are part of the deal when it comes to that $12 billion industry. That $12 billion industry is servicing a religious need almost, okay, insofar as it is related to these things I just mentioned. And then the third thing on the table is that there tends not to be a way of measuring self-improvement. There's a measurement problem, and this is good for the industry. That way the industry can keep on just selling you the next level on the course and the next conference and the next conference and the next conference, and you're just going to keep on, getting better, self-improvement, it's a never-ending journey, that kind of a thing, whatever. So it's a perfect setup for the money-making aspect. But we're going to start playing this video, which Brini Lee is saying, hey, it's okay to be okay. She's doing that part of the religion. There's a part of the religion which is the take me as I am part, right? The, it's okay not to be okay part, whatever that is, okay? She's playing that thing going on. But we need to remember, ladies and gentlemen, as we get into this, shout out to you as you click the like button as you come in. Let's get one thing out of the way. Click that like button, click the share button, click the subscribe button if you have not already. Click that bell button twice. Okay, so, but as we get into this video, we need to remember those three things. There's a $12 billion industry, okay? It serves a religious purpose, some kind of an individualistic modern religion that, and then number three is they tend not to have clear ways of measuring what this improvement is. So is it to be good or to be seen as good? Or is it to feel good, right? So a lot of that gets mixed up, and that's why there's a lot of confusion, okay? There's a lot of confusion going on with a lot of these people who go in and out of this kinds of talk. But anyways, let's see what Brini has to say.
I put so much pressure on myself to be great, to do great things, to be successful, to not be a failure. I put so much pressure on myself that I literally squeeze the life out of myself. So the things that should be enjoyable, I'm putting pressure on myself so I can't enjoy it. That's why a lot of influencers battle their mental health, because as much as we're successful on the outside, we're succeeding, and it's genuine, we really are succeeding, we really are making money just being ourselves. Mentally, I don't know, it's yet to be explored, but
I would kind of question, like, if she's making money, but she's not being herself, if she is having to squeeze the life out of herself in order to make this money, right? Joan, am I crazy? Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of obvious to me here that if she has to squeeze the life out of herself, which she's saying, right, in order to make something out of herself, okay?
She's exaggerating.
She's okay, yeah, so that's part of the whole kind of weird religion thing too, which is come and look at my wounds or look at my suffering, and there's an exaggeration part of it too. Many parables in the Bible about people praying and pointing the finger, for example. That particular one comes to mind. For those of you who know, you know what I'm talking about. And Joan knows. We're going to talk about Joan's self-improvement, and if indeed your self-improvement journey was a way of replacing religion. We'll get to you, Joan, in a second. But she's talking about squeezing the life out of herself, something which I'm a little bit pissed off at, because as someone whom talks about being better and doing better, right, on my channel, this whole idea of now making it seem like, oh, in order to do this, I had to sacrifice my whole self. It's like, no, that's not what it is. It's like, it's crazy. It's like we're talking about getting up and killing our inner bitch, our inner laziness, our inner resistance, our inner limitations, all those kinds of things. Why are you coming out here talking about, oh my God, it's so hard? That's kind of very annoying. But then again, that's just my bias. Let's see.
Influencers battle their mental health, because as much as we're successful on the outside, we're succeeding, and it's genuine, we really are succeeding, we really are making money just being ourselves. Mentally,
making money,
I don't know, it's yet to be explored, but mentally it does something to you.
With all that's happening in the world, it's more important now than ever to keep on top of your mental health and well-being.
She's insane.
What helps one isn't always the same for others. This is a day in my life. I don't know about you guys, but if my hair isn't done, I'm not done. So getting my hair done regularly makes me feel so good and attractive. I've also been spending a lot of time with my family dog Dior, and he just makes me feel grounded. I can't explain it, but having to care for someone else outside of yourself takes away a lot of my anxiety.
Oh, poor thing. She has to take care of a dog.
Oh, but no,
Going
she's
outside
taking
and
care of her.
taking
Come
in for-
on, Joan. She's taking care of her anxiety. She has anxiety, so she has to take care of something else to make herself feel better and whatnot. Now this is interesting in the sense that, look, I just mentioned that there is this big industry and that there's this new religion. Okay, now it's not surprising that in the West, right, given the stage of development that we're in, we're going to get a lot of this kind of individualistic religion, right, and in self-improvement and whatnot, which I think is part of a lot of the confusion that we're seeing here. And a lot of this crazy irrational behavior we're seeing is just normal religious behavior, so that remains my stance on it. You're like saying, oh, she's making herself look you making us want to feel sorry for her or pulling our heartstrings by showing us the dog. Is that with the piano? with the little piano music?
Explain it, but having to care for someone else outside of yourself takes away a lot of my anxiety. Going outside and taking in for walks has become a highlight of my day. I usually shop daily rather than weekly, so I like to grab some of my favorites from my local grocery store to replenish my body. I then come back home and do some journaling. It's important that I check in and connect with myself regularly. I've been journaling for years, and it's one of the best outlets for my mental health, along with prayer and reading the Word of God. I then prepare myself for therapy. I want you guys to know that it's perfectly fine to ask for help. No man is an island, and that's why using services like Frontline Therapist can be a great tool to live in a more fulfilling life. I use my therapy session to rant because my friends aren't trying to.
That must be a sponsor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's even written on the screen and everything.
Yep.
So that speaks to the industry that we're talking about, right? So you don't even have to even go there to wait in the waiting room anymore. You can do it online over Zoom, as we see here on the screen. Okay, let me ask you something. Just let's begin as we go with her video. You say your channel is about self-improvement.
Mm-hmm.
If we take it to your life, your practical life, not your channel, why or when or what did your self journey or your self-improvement journey look like? Okay, just give us a little introduction into what you consider to be your self-improvement journey. Sorry.
Yeah.
Speak today.
Yeah. So it happened when I kind of like started realizing, like, damn, I'm like way too emotional about certain things, I mean, yeah, they say, oh, women are just very emotional, but
was that one of the main things that you wanted? In other words, you were looking for that kind of control. It wasn't like I want to be a billionaire, or I thought I was going to be the king of the world, or it was more self-control, self-mastery that you were after.
Yeah, so it started with self-mastery, then next it became I want to be a billionaire. So
okay, well then, all right, you snuck up on the billionaire thing. I know what you it was billionaire all along, right?
Oh yeah.
But you were like, okay, I want to sneak up on it.
Yeah. But yeah, it started with self-mastery, just being more aware of myself and my thoughts and my emotions, how I react, how I expect other people to be and not expect them to be. And that was like a huge thing where I realized, like, I can't, like, you can't have expectations of people, as far as how they behave and all that, because it's not fair. I mean, people are unpredictable. I mean, I can be unpredictable too towards other people. But the thing is, like, it started with me realizing that I had like situations where I look back and I'm like, wow, I overreacted. And when I looked back at it again, like sometime later, like, wow, like that was totally not what it was. And, when I became aware of that, then I was just like, what else can I work on? How can I like learn to take a step back when I'm in those moments where I'm triggered or, like offended or whatever, like, what can I do? And that's where it started, I read some books and watched some videos and stuff. It was mainly the books that helped me because I was actually really seeking out that knowledge, seeking out that ways to self-improve in the emotional aspect, and then became the spiritual aspect, and then became, you know, the abundance aspect, and, you know, I have like goals to become billionaire, you know. So it's just like one thing led to next. Like when I realized like, oh, I can improve on myself in this aspect, why not improve on anything else? Why not reach?
How did you keep track?
How did I keep track?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
of,
I mean,
of the improvement
the improvement.
Yeah, the first improvement being that in the self-control realm, self-mastery realm, how were you able to keep track of that kind of improvement?
I would pay attention to how I am around like family gatherings, or, you know, conversations with certain people that, you know, like tend to become difficult conversations. So that was the way I was able to track, like, okay, I'm, you know, getting better at this. I don't react so easily. I listen. I don't, you know, pretend like I'm listening, but I'm really rehearsing my head, which was something that a lot of people do. And I can tell when they're doing that, you know. They're not really listening to you. They're just like, but they're ready to say something. And so the more situations I got into where I could really practice that mastery, that control, that self-awareness, I was able to navigate conversations more easily. I was able to, you know, maybe put out a fire, you know, when it comes to like difficult conversations, or I was able to just navigate it to a different conversation. So it was like things like that. Like the more I was confronted with difficult situations, the better I got. And that was like, you know, like I would kind of reflect like, oh, wow, like, okay, I could do this. Okay, the next time this happens, you know, I'll try that. So it was just always just kind of like whatever was thrown at me. Obviously, I can't predict something is going to happen. But when I know I'm going into these situations, that's how I just kind of keep track. Like, okay, like I think I've handled this pretty well, you know.
And what tools did you use? Okay, so Brini is here showing us the dog and the therapist and the hair. Okay, so these are
out of my ears, getting a little excited. Okay,
getting a little excited there, John.
Okay, so tools.
Brini is showing us some of her tools are with the hair. And you don't have to answer this now, but it's something that, you know, we can kind of think about, because you notice I asked you, how do you keep track? I asked you, what was your target? What was your goal? And then how do you keep track? And then what tools you're using? Because what I mentioned earlier about the fact that there is a measurement problem in the self-improvement industry is an aspect that I think that needs to be kind of understood. And I think it's represented in her video, right? Her video really is all about the measurement problem. The idea of, is it okay to not be okay? It's like, what is okay, and how much of okay are you talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, like according to who? Like according to like who is this is okay? This is the level of okay.
You said self-mastery, and then you said you keep track in terms of how you interact with people and how triggered you get, and then we're gonna think about your tools. But while we watch Brini Lee talk about her tools, ladies and gentlemen, we are watching and reviewing a video here by Brini Lee saying that she is done. Okay, she is hanging up the hat with regards to self-improvement. Okay, it's over. She's gonna now just chill with her puppy, her therapist, and her Zoloft.
To live in a more fulfilling life. I use my therapy session to rant because my friends aren't trying to hear it. Frontline Therapist is the culturally sensitive, affordable therapy and counseling service.
It's very culturally sensitive, okay? So if your Filipino heritage needs to be affirmed, you remember the word affirm, right? We got to keep track on our woke lingo. Your Filipino heritage has to be affirmed. You know, they got that for you, okay?
Whatever it's particular... the X now. It's not Filipino, it's Philippines.
Philippines, just like the Latinx. Oh, yeah. My bad. Oh, look, you see, I need
you need to be educated.
I need to be educated. I need someone to sell me on an app, a course, perhaps, a self-improvement course, get me more woke. But anyways, so let's see.
Therapy. I want you guys to know that it's perfectly fine to ask for help. No man is an island, and that's why using services like Frontline Therapist can be a great tool to live in a more fulfilling life. I use my therapy session to rant because my friends aren't trying to hear it. Frontline Therapist is the culturally sensitive, affordable therapy and counseling service are always available for you. So if you need someone to talk to, I'll leave all the information in the description box below. It's okay not to be okay.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing well. So I have been away for a little while, and I'm going to explain why I've been away for a little while and just want to let you guys know this is going to be more of a chatty video, less giving advice, more of me sharing my heart and what I've been experiencing, and hopefully it can relate to some of you guys. It's definitely a relatable video, and I want you guys to kind of come where I'm at. Okay, no, I'm going to come to where you guys may be at. And the title of this video is "It's Okay Not to Be Okay." And so I've been away from YouTube for a little while, but in that time of me being away, I have tried to film videos. I've sat down, I've done my hair, done my makeup multiple times, sat down and filmed. I had literally nothing to give, and I had to like tell my manager.
I was gonna say this before she just said that, which is this is just another content strategy as well, right? You got a YouTube channel, Joan, right? I got a YouTube channel. Okay, we're all on YouTube, and the people who are watching right now, okay, the people who are watching and clicking that like button and are about to click that super chat button, drop $2, ask a question, get the party going here, talking about self-improvement. These people, everybody knows that this is just part of content as well. I'm so, I've been away for a while, and yeah, I haven't been dropping content for a while, but here's something that's been going on, and then she even gave it away by saying, look, I was trying to make content, okay, and I didn't have much to give, okay. So basically part of it too, which is real, is burnout, right? So you have burnout in any kind of job you do, any kind of field you're in. So you're gonna have to maybe relax, reevaluate, change spark plugs, air filters, brake fluid, whatever it is that's going on, okay? Get everything all spruced up, rather than make this a whole existential kind of drama. Am I being crazy here? I'm saying, look, maybe sometimes you just need to go change the spark plugs, and maybe you burnt out that tire that you forgot to change because your axle is off balance. And doesn't mean, oh my God, I have to rethink the whole, it's okay to be okay. Am I okay? You okay?
Man, you're just talking smack. Wait till you see my video tomorrow. Oh my God.
I'm not talking smack. I'm just saying, look, this is part of content. And then I validated it. Okay. I affirmed it by saying that, look, there is such a thing as burnout, but perhaps rather than brand it as is it okay? What is it okay? Again, this whole okay thing is not a very firm target. What is okay? Okay, it's not a target for me. What am I changing? How am I measuring improvement? What is a good score, right? Okay, not okay. Again, part of this is being seen as doing good rather than actually doing good, okay? Or feeling better rather than actually being better. And that's part of the measurement problem that the self-improvement industry, which Beanie Lee is a part of, okay, is. And she's showing us right now. It's almost like real life drama behind the scenes, showing you what the industry is all about.
I just can't. Like, I don't have anything to give. And I like to flow with the spirit. I like to do things based on alignment, based on timing. And I know that if I record something and even if I start editing it and it doesn't feel right, I just won't do it. I don't know if other YouTubers may feel that way, but I'm very, very sensitive. I take YouTube very, very seriously. I would not come on here and give you guys a half-assed video. I would not come on here and put out something that does not feel right to me. If I can't watch my own videos back, then it's trash, right? So being a creator, and by the way, I don't have any real points. I'm just gonna like flow with it and just share my heart, really. There's a few things I want to talk about. I guess I'll talk about where my mind's been at the last couple of weeks. I haven't been on social media that heavy. Obviously, I went on a ski trip, so I wasn't on social media that heavy. But even a ski trip, before I went on my ski trip, I decided that I wasn't going to take my laptop with me. I wasn't going to edit anything. I wasn't going to post anything. I just wanted time away. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is that you guys watch us as a form of escapism, or like to kind of get away from your everyday life. And we create content as part of our everyday life. Whereas maybe you may go to an office or a place for work. My house is my work. If I go out to dinner, it's my work. If I go to an event, it's work. If I go to a cinema, it's work. There's no differentiation between what is real life and what is content. And I know people.
What do you think about that? Do you think that is that a problem in your life? Because this is, shall we say, the old work-life balance. That's one aspect of it. Another aspect is, oh, she's just freaking over here complaining about a life that most people that are watching her would love, right? She's like, oh, you get to see my great life 24/7, like, and I'm always working. Okay, so any reactions to that? My first reactions are, well, first of all, there's the work-life balance thing, which I think is a myth, a problem. The fact that you're trying to separate things is the problem, right? And then why is she complaining? What are we supposed to take? What is this?
Yeah, I mean, when you're on YouTube, I mean, you basically put yourself on blast in front of everybody, you know, and if you're at the point where she is, it's like, you know, she has a camera that follows her around, and, you know, her life is being a YouTuber influencer, and it's just, that's the nature of it, you know. And yeah, I mean, with the whole like work-life balance thing, I mean, is your work your life, you know, or is your life your work, or are they two different things? And that's the thing that I'm still trying to figure out for myself too. But, you know, the more I take my work seriously, the more I realize, hey, that's part of my life. You know, that's my life. Like having a business and, you know, planning other businesses and other future ventures. It's, you know, that's part of life. It's not like something you separate, like you clock out at 5 and then you go home and do, you know, do your life thing. You know, it's like, you know, work and life, like that should be like your overall like beingness, you know, that's your in a way purpose in life, you know. And I guess for her, I don't know. I mean, I don't think she's come to terms with that yet, or hasn't figured that out for herself. Like, yeah, like she's trying to separate things, but that's just nature of being an influencer in the wild, you know. You're just constantly putting yourself out to the world, and that's just the way it is, and people are not going to like you or they're going to love you. And it's, you know, they put like someone like her, so like she just puts herself under a lot of unnecessary pressure, and it's just the nature of it, you know. Not everyone's going to like her. I mean,
so I said, okay, you're gonna blow a gasket every once in a while, or you're gonna need to change spark plugs, you're gonna need to go for a tune-up every once in a while, and there's no need to make an existential issue of it. You are you're a woman, and she's a woman as well, so maybe I'm being unfair in a particular way, because women do a couple of things when it comes to motivation or commiseration and kind of helping each other get through a difficult time, right? Women do you go girl, for example. Men tend not to do that. Men tend more to be on the criticizing edge of things rather than the uplifting, telling you you're great before you are great, you know. So women tend to do that more, and also women tend to do the other, just kind of more of an existential, oh my god, it's okay not to be okay, rather than just say, hey man, my tires are blown out. I'm fixing it. I'm messed up. I'm jacked up right now. I think I need a couple of days off. So what do you think? Is this what she's doing right now? Does this kind of because she has a lot of followers whom are women, is this effective? Speak as a woman now, I guess.
I mean, just based on the videos I've seen of her, I'm not sure if she's really helping women get out of their situation, because just the stuff that she says, I feel like she's just feeding them like, hey, you know, if a guy, if you and your guy break up, like he's an asshole, like you're great the way you are, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. It's always something wrong with them. You don't have to change, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's just the kind of vibe I got from her, is that, yeah, she's trying to empower women, but she's actually keeping them where they are by, you know, like bringing up all this drama that she's going through. And it's like, oh, it's okay not to be okay. And it's like, does that solve anything? No. You know, like I want a solution. Like I'm down to hear your drama story, but it's like, where's the solution? You know, if women are coming to her wanting to relate to her, I think at the end I would want some kind of solution, rather than just like, oh, I'm going through exactly what she's feeling. Now I feel validated for how I feel, you know? And I'm just someone who's like, I want to solve something. I want a solution. I want to improve something. But from her, all I hear is just, you know, crying and drama and like tissue boxes. You know, it's like, okay, where's the end of the line? You know, like where do you cross, you know, the finish line?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us continue.
People will say, like, you don't have to post everything, but you kind of do. If you don't post, you kind of feel like, oh, damn, I'm missing this moment to share with my followers. And it's not the fact that, oh my God, our followers care so much about us. I don't know. When it's your job, it's really, really, really difficult to switch off. And I think that's what I've been experiencing, like the inability to switch off and to genuinely enjoy my life. And it's going to sound funny, but I think 2 weeks ago, I was dog sitting, right? I'm dog sitting my niece's dog. And there was one day I didn't do any work, I didn't really do anything. But I sat there and I just stroked the dog. Took the dog for a walk outside in nature, sat around where I live. And it was honestly one of the best days of my life.
So, Joan, do you enjoy life?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that's question number one. And question number two, does your enjoying of life have anything to do with whether or not you have time to sit down and stroke a dog, or whether or not you're busy?
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one, because I do tend to, I don't know, maybe it is a woman thing. I mean, I hate to put it that way, but I do have my moments where I feel like, man, like I wish I had like a moment to just chill and like read my book or like watch the sunset, but I mean, I can make that happen anyway. And when I get caught up with working a lot, like I have all these different projects I'm working on, and I have my business that I'm preparing for, like our gig next month. And sometimes I do get caught up with like, oh man, like I'm kind of tired or like feeling burnt out and stuff. But it's like, it's just part of the journey, and I've come to terms with like where I'm at right now. It's like I sprint, like I have to sprint. And once I cross the finish line, I take a break, and then I take on the next thing, and then I sprint, and that's just, if I want to be successful, like for myself, I know I have to do that. But yeah, I mean, maybe sometimes my energy levels don't keep up with the things I need to do. I don't know if it's like a hormonal thing. I mean, yes, maybe once a month, yeah, like that time of the month, the hormones kick in, but it's like, it passes, and then I'm back to, high gear again. So I mean, sometimes I think about that too. It's like, is it different for a male versus female on how they work, and like the amount of work they can take on, the amount of exertion that they can do? And sometimes I think yes, but we live in a modern world, so it's like everybody can do the same thing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, technology has made it such that a lot of the former differences, let's say for example, in terms of lifting or reaching, or also dangerous jobs, which men are still doing, right? Men are still doing all the dangerous jobs and all that kind of stuff. Just part of why they earn more on average. But anyways, and also on just a job by job basis, men tend to they'll do work more hours, sacrifice more in certain kinds of ways, and it's because a big part of their role and their expectations are based on that as well. And when you're a sexually dimorphic species, meaning there is a male and a female, and they are different, and they're gonna evolve differently for different purposes, right? One is gonna be able to, one is built to get beat up more, which tends to be the male, and they tend to die younger too. They're good for great burnout and that kind of stuff. So yeah, all that makes sense. And you're saying, okay, cool, you enjoy life, because she mentioned this enjoying of life, okay, and how sometimes she's not able to enjoy life. And this is not the first time we've heard somebody say something like this. And it is my belief, having observed this for a while, that this has nothing to do with what they're doing. Because for me, the enjoyment of life, because I'm able to enjoy life, okay, has nothing to do with whether or not this is one of those days where it's like, oh my God, it was a perfect day, and I made a perfect lamb roast at the end. And it was great.
Oh, I think that way, like, I mean, maybe women think that way. I mean, I think that way sometimes, like, oh, like today was perfect. I did exactly what I wanted to do,
Oh, okay. Makes sense. So continue, Brini Lee. Brini Lee again is talking about the fact that, okay, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be on this self-improvement hype all the time. There are many things that we've laid down on the table. One of which is that this is part of content, first and foremost, that she is part of the self-improvement industry, okay? She did just advertise a therapist, right? Whom also is in the self-improvement industry, along with Deepak Chopra and Tony Robbins, a $12 billion industry that sells you a product similar to a religious product, insofar as people are using it to assuage their anxiety and look for meaning and deal with their sin and guilt and redemption, okay? And then there is the aspect of burnout, which Brini Lee is going through right now, and telling us about the dog that she was stroking.
And it sounds so wild saying that, guys, but it's the simple things in life that you appreciate when you are a content creator, right? My week with the baby. My baby.
She's also doing this thing that people do sometimes where they're making it seem like their life is so different from everyone else. Like, when you're a content creator, Joan, okay?
Oh my God.
I don't know if you know this, but when you're a content creator, like salads, anyways, I don't know. She's doing that. She's doing that thing. Like, her life is just so, this happens when you're a content creator. And you don't understand. I can't stop working because I'm a content creator and my life is whatever.
A content creator, right? My week with the baby. My baby. Scratch my baby. But yeah, it's been nice having a dog, being an influencer and being on social media online all the time. Like, your life is online, really interacting with people on a day-to-day basis, like physically. It does take a toll on you, and it does make you kind of feel like you're not really here, like you're living in an alternative reality. And so it's been nice, going out, taking you for a walk this morning. Small things in life, like honestly felt, and then the sun's out, I honestly felt happier, honestly felt good, because I want to tell you guys, it is not normal. I repeat, it is not normal or natural to be a content creator. It is not normal. This job is not normal. It's not normal to have so many followers. It is not normal to, I was gonna say, like, not really have a job, right? That's not to discredit what us influencers do. Of course it's a job. Of course we work hard, of course. But if I don't want to film, I don't have to film. If I go out and I film a vlog, that's my work. If I do my makeup, that's my work. What you guys would do as mundane, it is actually our job. So to us,
at this point, she's kind of exhibiting exhibiting that narcissism in an unfriendly way. When I say unfriendly, because I'm not one of those people that points to people and say, "Oh, you're a narcissist," and make it seem like it's all bad, because I know that anyone any day can point to me and call me a narcissist, and I'll own about 99% of it, right? You can sometimes maybe even call me a sociopath, and I'll own it too, because I get it. I'm driven, I'm kind of self-centered, I'm very strategic, okay? I'm a little cold and all those kinds of things. So I get if you look at me that way, okay? But then when you present it in an unnice way, in this kind of a needy way, right? Because she's over here just talking about, me, and the things that you guys do is mundane, the mundane things. This is work for me, and I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's just her recording her day-to-day thing. I mean, that's like the easiest job. Like, you just do what you do day to day and you just film it. Can't get easier than that.
Yeah, you're basically an influencer, meaning you're selling products, right? Let's make it clear. You're selling products in whichever particular area. And by selling products, I mean you're selling people that view you, because the people are the product, right? Your Instagram followers are a product. You're selling them, okay, to advertisers for money. And then the advertisers sell them something else. That's kind of like the trade that goes on, generally speaking, with media, right? Media is selling the eyeballs. Oh, look at the ratings. Oh, look at my numbers. Look at people who follow me. Those are eyeballs that I sell to whomever industry and whatnot. So she's doing this. She's part of the whole deal and still making it seem like she's kind of, she should be treated as a special little bird and feel sorry for me somewhat. I don't know. It's kind of silly, but
yeah. I mean, that's something I noticed with a lot of YouTubers, like the women. They all, I mean, I don't know. I was thinking about talking about this at some point, but they all seem to experience anxiety being YouTubers. Like, they all.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, Joan. Okay, let's talk
about it. Every single one of them, they all share some kind of anxiety, and then they, this video is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Let's be fair, though. Let's be fair. Guess what I mean, okay? This is a taboo subject, what you just brought up, right? Can you sense that why it would be a taboo subject, or do you sense the taboo-ness of it? Like, basically, you just said, okay, you noticed something about women YouTubers, and then this anxiety thing that they're projecting. So you're kind of projecting a certain kind of weakness to a particular gender, and so that's a taboo subject, right, Joan? first and foremost?
I
Do we
guess.
agree?
I'll
Before we
talk
cross
about
this
it.
this line. Okay, cool. Then we're
I'll
crossing. We're
talk
going into
about
the
it.
minefield.
Yeah.
Let's
I mean,
go.
I'll
Let's go
talk
into the
about
mine.
I'll talk about it with myself too. I mean, I kind of mentioned it a little bit in my video I'm posting tomorrow, but it's, yeah, I can understand where it comes from, but I think because, women, I mean, at least from my observation, they want to please everybody and they're more sensitive to comments, like people saying weird stuff about them, or like, oh, you have so many pimples, or like, why don't you dye your hair? Or like that one time that I remember it made me laugh, but like somebody told me to cut my hair and stop talking like a zombie. That was hilarious. But to me, that was like probably if I was a sensitive YouTuber, like that would hurt my feelings. But I thought that was the funniest thing I ever read. But I can only imagine that other YouTubers that have the 6-figure following already, like see that shit all the time. And so I can understand why they go through anxiety, but there's, that's the trade-off, I guess, when you put yourself so publicly, people are going to criticize you and there's nothing you can do about that. You can't expect everyone to like you, whether you like, whether, you're putting out nice, friendly comment, like videos or whatever content, but it's just the nature of it. I mean, for me, it's like, I haven't even gotten that far with my YouTube yet, because I'm just kind of, for me, I'm just playing around with it. I mean, I like the idea of it. I like sharing my experiences and like what I know, but I'm not where they are. So it's like, I can only imagine that, yeah, they go through anxiety because they're constantly figuring out like, oh, how can I put something out that people are going to like so that I'll get more views. So then I get more, what is it, like the ads or whatever, I don't know how all that stuff works.
All that stuff with AdSense and the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So
and the CPMs and the,
I mean,
so,
if they,
So, okay, cool. So you open up the door to the minefield of talking about women and how we've started talking about it before in terms of men will not do not express themselves in terms of the quote unquote you go girl way of shall we say encouraging each other or pushing each other along or judging each other. Men will be more on the judgment end of things and to give respect and honor where it's due rather than to say you're great before you're great, right? So that's one difference, and that's not a big deal. Like one side does things this way, generally speaking. Again, these are overlapping distributions, okay, right? Meaning there are many women whom share the temperament of an average man and many men whom share the temperament of an average woman, right? Okay, just because people, every time we have to say that stuff, whenever you start talking about groups, you always got to give a quick statistic reminder, okay? But there are other things too in terms of that she has kind of mentioned, this kind of making everything seem like an existential crisis rather than a guy will look at it as a blown tire. Like, I've messed up. I burnt out last month. I'm all messed up right now. I'm all jacked up. I'm injured. Okay, let me go fix myself. But women more speak about it as, oh, it's okay to be okay, or is it not okay not to be okay, or oh my God, you go girl, you're okay sis, you've always been enough girl, or whatever it may be, right? So those things are different, but it doesn't mean that this issue should be a minefield, if you know what I mean, because the idea is that word comes up, and shout out to D in the building, because the word is neuroticism. That's the third aspect now of this minefield, where this is where it starts to become a minefield, basically, which is that aspect of the temperament, which makes you, shall we say, emotion, right? So which basically just say women are more emotional. That's the marker, okay, that people are usually talking about when they generally say that in common parlance, right? And it's not that women love. Here's my. Let me ask you this. I don't think women love to be emotional. No one, because it's physiologically taxing, right? Okay. Yeah. So no one likes to get emotionally riled up like that, and I think it is something that, as a man, we should understand more, right? In other words, like, she actually isn't. If she's a good woman, obviously there are crazy manipulated people out there. A lot of people are, right? Crazy manipulated people. But if this is a fellow human being that let's say it's your friend, business partner, wife, or whatever it may be. Okay, they're an otherwise decent person. You have to understand if they're a woman and they're emotional, they're not necessarily. It's not necessarily because they enjoy it, because it's not enjoyable to be that way. But anyways, what else do you want to say about this minefield and what you've noticed about female YouTubers like Brini Lee out here telling us about how she suffers so much because, you know, everyone has to watch her all the time in her fancy dinners and her fur coat? Go ahead, Joan.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, the sense of validation, I guess. Yeah, they're looking for some kind of validation, you know, and they put it out on YouTube that they're suffering and this and that. Oh, it's so hard being a YouTuber. But hey, you know, this is your livelihood. So, you know, just roll with the punches. You know, people are going to criticize you or not criticize you. And yeah, definitely. I see that too in the comments, like, oh my God, I love your channel. Ever since I watched your channel, like, you know, I feel better and so all that. That's all great. You know, I mean, of course, I'm sure it makes them feel good. But then when they see like the not so good comments, it's like, oh my God, like their world's over. But again, it's just part of being someone on YouTube. You cannot give a shit what anyone thinks of you. You know, you just be you and put out your content and follow your day around. But that's just what happens when you put your life so publicly. Everyone is going, you know, there's going to be people criticizing you, and it is what it is. And
Dr. Thunder says Joan is very reasonable. You have a fan.
Oh, thank you. It's the self-improvement. It's working.
It's all the self-improvement. Okay. So let me remind the people of some of the facts we have on the table. Fact number one, that there's a $12 billion industry. It's called the self-improvement industry. It includes you buying tickets to events with Deepak Chopra and Grant Cardone and or Tony Robbins and Oprah. It includes you buying the Oprah magazine, paying for such subscriptions and courses and whatever it may be in order to get into, shall we say, Forex trading or, you know, being a better closer or just a better entrepreneur, whatever it may be. There is a $12 billion industry. It also includes your therapist and big pharma as well. What they're selling you, though, doesn't have a clear target about 99% of the time. And that's by design, because now you can just continue to sell them more and more stuff. Okay, it's not like sales where it's like, here's the quota, here's how we measure it. No, it's just a ever-changing, ever-amorphous, ever-recycled topics from conference to conference. Come back for the next conference, come back to the next funnel where we're going to sell you something else, and then take you back onto the top of another funnel and sell you something else. You know the game, yeah, Joan. Exactly. So that is a reality. These things are a reality. And also, here is another fact. This is religion. What I mean by that is this individualistic, self-centered religion, okay, which includes which I said, you know, is served by the self-improvement industry, deals with people's anxiety and their sense of meaning and all those other things, right? So it is like a religion, okay? And hence there's a lot of confusion that comes out of it. And a lot of it goes on social media. So that's all in this crazy soup which we're watching, okay? It's not a simple soup that Brini Lee has brewed up for us here today.
Us, it doesn't feel like work, right? So you would see reels, like let's say someone created a skincare routine. I would have to do my skincare routine even if I wasn't filming, right? If you see someone taking content of getting their hair done, I would have had to get my hair done even if I wasn't filming, right? So all the normal things that you guys do, we do it on camera. Right? We do it with a camera in front of our faces. And of course, I'm not the usual vlogger. I don't like do vlogs, or I will do on my new channel, but I'm not that type of influencer. However, my job is still very much, if I'm on Instagram or on Snapchat, I'm still very much posting. If I go somewhere, I'm still very much posting. If I've got a video to release on Sunday, I'm very much editing the whole week. Then I've got to think about filming. And I get my hair done, which to a lot of you guys will probably just be like relaxing, get my hair done, you can relax back into it, getting my nails done, relax back into it, getting a massage, relax back into it. We're like there with a...
Joan, are you just relaxing for the most part of your week or what? When you're doing these things that she's mentioning, okay? When Miss Karen, okay, which is one of her fans, okay, goes out to get sandwich meat for her son's lunch tomorrow and is in the grocery store, is she just relaxing and chilling? And Brini Lee is the only one that has to go through the prying eye of the camera and the suffering. Okay, the suffering. Oh my God, the suffering. Like she's not out here for the adulation, anyways. Like she's not enjoying it, eating it all up, anyways, right? But this idea of making it seem like there's some kind of extra level of suffering in her stuff, where for you it's just chilling and doing hair, it's just chilling, living your life. People also have goals and dreams, as you were mentioning, right? You also have places, things that you're trying to do. And do you get her point here, or what do you have to say? Is doing hair just chilling and not thinking about anything else for you? Is it like drinking mimosas?
Drinking my sangria here, relaxing, just having a conversation, you know. I don't know. I mean, I just don't get like the emphasis that she puts on all these things, like doing her hair and doing her makeup and her nails and whatnot. Like I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't do my hair. I mean, when I do it, I just do it because, you know, like, okay, well, I'm gonna perform, so I'll do my hair. You know, I want to feel extra fabulous, but then at the end of the day, it's like, it's done, you know, over. Doing my hair doesn't have to be, you know, a stressful, high pressure thing that I put on Instagram, because I just don't do those things. I don't document every little thing I do in my life, so I don't really know if I can relate to her in that sense. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it.
All right, justice for Brini. She demands justice. She demands more respect. People need to understand her pain. That she does it for you. Okay, she does it for you.
Camera, like, it's not normal, guys. Like, it's not normal when you guys will say, well, give it up and get a normal job. No. Because as much as it's not normal and it's stressful and it's anxiety inducing, this is my dream job. I could not see myself doing anything else, right? But just because it's my dream job does not mean it's not hard. And what you may see as hard in your job is hard for us as influencers mentally, because we never check out. We never take breaks. And even if we take a break, like I'm going on a retreat on Thursday.
You know, you just say, she's just saying stuff like this, like checking out and taking breaks, like, and I'm thinking, like, I'm not checking out or taking breaks either. You know, like, when would, you know, it's like people have things to do. And even if you're just the average person, again, as I was saying, you know, getting lunch meat for your son, right? You're not necessarily just chilling and taking a break either, under this inflationary environment, under this environment where you can't live in, you know, in many of the major cities in the United States because of crazy rents and depleting services and all these other craziness that's going on in the world, making it seem like her, you know, her spa sessions that she has to film with a camera crew, right? So it's not, she's not doing social media at your level, Joan. She has a camera crew, okay? She just has to show up, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
And people will do the makeup and someone will do the lighting and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, it's so hard. But here's the thing that I recognize, okay, which is maybe different from a male point of view, is she does then turn back and acknowledge, oh, but I really love the job, right? Mm-hmm. Now, as a guy, I'll be like, well, why did you just tell me all that crap then? You know, like, but I notice, okay. I've known women from over the years. Women tend to do this type of thing more, where they will focus on this side of the coin, the ugly side of the coin, and then turn the coin and then look at the right side. And I'm just like, why did you have to expose us to that ugly side of the coin? We know it's there, okay? We know the hardness is there. We know that life is a bitch and then you die. I mean, kind of like, anyways, I'm rambling again. Let's continue. Let me know if you have anything to say about her spa sessions.
We are still thinking about content. We're still replying to comments, like, and this is not to be a woe is me, but this is just to give an insight into our lives. It is not normal. And that's why a lot of influencers battle their mental health. Because as much as we're successful on the outside, we're succeeding, and it's genuine, we really are succeeding. We really are making money just being ourselves. Mentally, I don't know, it's yet to be explored, but mentally, it does something to you. And I'll talk about one aspect of it. And one aspect of it is that, especially if you have friends that work 9 to 5, they don't understand and you don't get to see them really. Most people on the weekends, they will go out with their friends, they'll do whatever. An influencer's weekend is their weekday and their weekday is their weekend. It's all muddled up, right? I can go weeks without going out or seeing my friends because I'm just
can't believe she spent this long complaining.
As much as like I'll see my friends from time to time, it's not the same. And it's like you're just busy all the time and you don't get a moment just to think. And it's busyness And so that's how I found myself busy, busy, busy. And on top of that, people are pulling from you.
Okay, let's go back into the minefield. What do you think about the things that we mentioned earlier when you said perhaps maybe men are built to work and take this stress more? And we say, okay, well, it's not just a man-woman thing. We could look at the male-female thing in the animal kingdom, right? And how these things work in terms of whom is built for what, right? Now, when it comes to the women out there that she's influencing, right? Remember, okay, she's out there influencing people, and this is a religious industry, as I put it already. Okay, this industry of therapy, pharma, Tony Robbins and Deepak Chopra is a religious industry serving this new individualistic, atheistic, self-centered religion that we have. Okay, the people that she is influencing here, these women, she is telling them to do all kinds of crazy burnout type crap, right? In a lot of other videos too, right? And telling them not to take no sass and be this and be that and all the other stuff that she
don't want to be a housewife, you know, like I remember that video.
She's a total boss up and boss chick type stuff.
Yeah.
And then we know, again, we're in the minefield of talking about gender differences, okay? And is this healthy to be telling women to go do something which is fundamentally not good for them? Because maybe you are an outlier type woman, right? So possibly you're an outlier type woman, which I don't even think she is, because if she was an outlier type woman, she would not be complaining about it. In other words, Margaret Thatcher, for example, it doesn't make videos like this. The Margaret Thatcher types, right, don't sit and complain like this, okay? But here comes this woman, seemingly average temperamentally, encouraging other women to do crazy stuff which is not in their interest at all, and accumulating all this stress. What do you have to say about that, Joan?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said earlier. Like the way her videos are, how she rants about how hard her life is and all the suffering. It's like, you know, she's not empowering women. She's just encouraging women to be like her and not figuring herself out, that there's nothing wrong with her, so therefore there's nothing wrong with you, and it's everybody else, there's something wrong with them. And that's kind of what I get from her videos. I mean, it's I remember the first time I saw her video pop up. I don't even know how she popped up, and you know, she's sitting in her car looking all glamorous and stuff. I'm like, okay, who is this? You know, and then with her British accent and all that. Yeah. And she's telling you, like, you are perfect, you are valid, your emotions are, you know, she's just like going off like, you are this, you are that, you know, like trying to empower women. And then I started watching more of her videos as we started reviewing her, and it's like, wow, like she's just spewing all this nonsense and not really showing, again, like not showing a solution to the problems that she's having. You know, it's like she disregards any like potential of improvement. You know, like when she was talking about her breakup with that guy, you know, it's just like, oh, like I don't even want to hear what he has to say. You know, it's all about what I think and this and that. And yet, and then I don't know. It's just, I think what she's doing is unhealthy. Like I can't watch someone like her telling, I mean, I have a certain level of self-awareness, and it's like, I can't listen to someone like her. You know, she's not going to help me be better. You know, she's not going to help me improve myself, because she's basically telling me that, you know, it's okay for me to suffer and to keep suffering. And, you know, it's okay to not be okay, whatever the hell that means. And I don't think that's helping me. You know, like I'm just someone, like I want to be better and do better. I want to hear what your take is on that. And she's not giving me any of that. All she's doing is complaining about how hard her life is. And it's like, you know, if being an influencer is so hard, just freaking turn off your phone for a week. You don't have to, like, you know, record your spa session or you doing your hair every freaking moment. Like if you cut out for like a week or two or a month, like nobody's gonna care. Like really, no one's gonna care. I mean, I've done this thing where like I just like took off all the social media off my phone for like a month, and it's like at the end of it I come back, I'm like, nobody cared, I was gone. Nobody cared. And then we're just back to how it was. You just pick up where you left off, you know, like nobody cares. So it's like, I don't know why she's making such a big deal about, you know, making every part of her life her content and like recording everything, you know, stories and Instagram and all that. Like, yeah, of course it's exhausting, you know, because it's like you're literally like recording every aspect of your life, and then, you know, people are going to react a certain way to it. And it's like, You don't have to do that. Nobody told her she has to do that. She can literally take control of her own brand and be like, hey, I'm checking out for a month. Bye. And no one's making her do it. And she's acting like, she's a victim of her circumstance, which I don't agree with.
Indeed. All right, Brini Lee, continuing. Let's see if she's going to get to the meat of the philosophy, okay? Again, there's a measurement problem. Let's remember that one main thing when we talk about this new religion and the industry around it, the $12 billion, and then influencers such as her, this self-improvement deal, there is a measurement issue where there's just this endless continuity of it's like the crazy staircase where you never quite go up, where you just keep on going through a loop, right? That's part of it. But ladies and gentlemen, let's see.
Right? Your followers are pulling from you. Your manager's pulling from you. These brands are pulling from you. People constantly want something. And I saw that Doja Cat went on a rant the other day. She just said, I don't have time for myself. I'm always working. And I'm like, on a smaller scale, me being on a smaller scale than her, I feel it. Like I understand. You're living your dream, but you also don't have time to live your dream. Right? You're working so hard, but you don't have time to really cherish it and enjoy it because you're constantly thinking, what's next? You're trying to beat the algorithms. You're trying to grow your channel, trying to grow your Instagram, trying to shoot content, trying to be a human being, trying to spend time with your friends, trying to spend time.
Well, you know what's there's something also kind of beautiful about this. What I mean is, life is a be and then you die, okay? And that's not a pessimistic point of view. That's just kind of like 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration type talk, right? That's another way of saying the same thing, right? Okay, that things are always crazy. One way to put it is, being rich is a problem, being broke is also a problem. Pick your struggle, right? And the point is, what's beautiful about this is, for anyone who knows, for anyone who's taken the stance that I've just given, okay? If you just listen to those things I just said, which are pointing to the same thing, life's a be and then you die. Okay, 99% perspiration. Like no matter what you do with it, your rich report's a problem. You just pick your struggle, that kind of a thing. Then you notice that all she's describing is just a successful life, right? Because it's normal in a successful life to keep up, to be good at what you're doing, meaning you stay ahead of the algorithm and you do X, Y, and Z and all these other kinds of things. She may be describing you, for example, preparing for your gig next month and trying to build your business, right? So it's not some kind of in other words, this is opposed to some kind of crazy vision, which people like her never actually quite explicitly tell. Their opposite vision somehow must be some kind of a fairy tale Disneyland where they actually don't get to do anything, where they just float, okay, on this little social media bubble career or whatever it is, and they actually don't have to be good at something. In other words, be in that skin in the game, iron sharpened iron, edge of the market and competition type stuff in any particular kind of endeavor of self-improvement, whether you're trying to be a warrior prince or the next great philosopher or a scientist or a conqueror or next billionaire, whatever it may be. This is just what a normal life is like. I don't understand what kind of dreamland these people are trying to get into, where you don't actually have to do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, literally, like, she just does what she wants to do and she records it, and then that's content. I mean, that can't get any easier than that. I mean, oh God, I just don't get like what she's complaining about. I mean, unless she has like an idea or like a goal that she's trying to get to. I mean, I'd like to hear like, what is her goal? Like where is she trying to get to in life? Is she aiming to make this certain amount of money at a certain point, or certain amount of followers, or I don't know. I mean, I don't really like to watch her videos. I don't know if that's something she's ever talked about. Like, what is her, ultimate goal, or at least like her 10-year plan, because I mean, there was this other channel I follow, and she's, like a kind of like a YouTube tips thing, and she started being more like a blogger type thing. And she's kind of, she's clear about that though, like she has goals to become a certain amount of like followers, and then at some point she doesn't really want to do YouTube anymore, so she wants to go into real estate. And it's like, well, there you go, someone who has a clear goal that she can achieve, she has a path to do that. And she does her own like content of her life and day-to-day type things, and that's just part of her being on YouTube. But she realizes like, hey, I don't want to do this forever. This is not all I want to be. I want to do something else. So I just don't really get what her plan is, because then if she maybe had a plan, then she can figure out how to navigate all this suffering that she's going through. You know, I was like, just deal with the fact like, okay, this is where I am right now. This is what I need to do. But if I had a plan, like a goal, like, okay, after I do maybe 10 more years on YouTube, I'm going to go and start my own fashion line, you know, something, I don't know, like just that way she can deal or accept where she is now and the things that she has to do to be where, you know, where she wants to be as a YouTuber. And then, you know, then the next goal comes. I mean, you know, this is the thing, like we need to be like, I don't know, like we need to just come up with like things that we want to strive for. I mean,
yeah, we need to be
goals.
aware of that game.
Yeah.
That, in other words, that the hamster wheel game is going to keep on going on. In other words, there's this game of desire, pursuit, attainment, satisfaction, and then, well, next desire, pursuit, attainment, satisfaction.
Exactly. Yeah.
As long as you're a biological organism, and you're never going to get off that wheel. So you got to just keep on, the way I put it is like, you got to keep on throwing the ball ahead. You're like that dog that's chasing the rabbit, right? But you're the one that's also throwing the rabbit, right? You never quite catch the rabbit. You're putting yourself on a hamster wheel, and that's the way of operating this meat machine that we have. The hamster wheel is a clear one. Like, you're never going to get off of it. In other words, it doesn't work. You will die, actually, if you stop chasing, right? If you stop stressing, if you stop struggling, if you stop putting, you know, we all know the story, right? Use it or lose it, right? Let us continue, ladies and gentlemen. I think that if you don't mind reading what's on the screen,
yes.
Joan, I think her purpose has been given to us by A. Hill.
From A. Hill. Her goal is not life. It's women followers driven by envy.
Very, very well put, very succinctly put, right?
Yeah.
She wants women to gawk at her and have the men validate her by all that good stuff. Anyways, let's continue.
And your family trying to look good. Let's talk about looking good, okay? Last week, I nearly had a crisis because my hair wasn't done and I felt like garbage. And maybe I need a pep talk for that. But when my hair...
Oh, I nearly had a crisis last week, Joan. My hair wasn't done and I felt like garbage.
Hair's not done. I mean, as in my hair's not done or my hair doesn't not look nice anymore because I can't lay it like my hair just laid it. I feel ugly. I feel hideous. If my hair was out underneath, I could put it in a pony and do something with it, right? My natural hair. But when you're in between wigs, your hair's came with, right? And you've got a bloody stocking cap on.
When you're between $700 wigs,
it's not cute. You don't feel cute. And a big part of our job is looking presentable. And a lot of people think, Brini, you're always on 10. I'm not always on 10. I'm only on 10 when you guys see me, okay? And the thing about social media is because we're following so many people. So let's say I'm following 100 people. Brini's one of them, right? So I'm tapping. Brini's there. But I may go 3 days without posting, but you'll see me on the 4th day, Brini's looking fabulous. That's because you haven't seen me in 4 days. Because you haven't seen me, you have no idea what on earth I'm going through, right? You don't know what I'm dealing with, right? And like I said, it's not about worries me. I'm just trying to explain to you guys the catch-22 of beginning.
You have no idea what it's like, okay? Going through not looking fabulous all the time for camera, Joan. You have no idea what it's like not being on 100% all the time, Joan. You have no idea what it's like having to go into the restroom like regular human beings and just like do all these regular things and brush my teeth.
Oh God.
And have to like deal with like, you know, like the bloating after I drink that other tea. And oh my God, Joan, you have no idea what it's like when I'm not on camera.
I don't want to know what it's like. I don't need to know what it's like. Oh God.
Influence. And yeah, it's a catch-22 because I love what I do, but it's just really mentally, emotionally taxing. Like people say, how does it feel to have XYZ amount of people following you? And to be honest, I never think about it. If I was to think about it, I would go insane because it's hard to comprehend almost 1 million people knowing you, following you, watching you, criticizing you, judging you, loving you, all of it. Even if it's bad, even if it's good, it's still a lot to deal with. I personally feel like I can deal with all the stuff that I just mentioned. My problem is that I don't know how to check out. I don't know how to rest, and I don't know how to stop being hard on myself. And I remember a long time ago, probably like 6 years ago, I made a video on my self-love journey and how I used to be so negative to myself. And I really thought I overcame that. I really thought that I had a better self-talk, and that's not the case. It's improved, but it's still not great. But because my self-talk was so unconscious, I didn't really realize that I was negative to myself. And it's not negative in the sense of you're ugly, you're fat, It's negative in the sense that I put so much pressure on myself to be great, to do great things, to be successful, to not be a failure. I put so much pressure on myself that I literally squeezed the life out of myself. to the things that should be enjoyable, I'm putting pressure on myself, so I can't enjoy it, right? So I'm so concerned.
Okay, Joan, let's before we completely spend all our time, your self-improvement journey. We laid down a couple of things about it previously. I recall that you mentioned that it was mainly about self-mastery, wanting to be able to master your emotions, wanting to be able to master your reactions with interactions with people, so that's more fruitful, beneficial to you, more easy, right? And across time, beneficial to everyone involved. And then you said that you measured it by how your interactions actually improved, how you were not triggered or how you reacted when you were triggered, right? And then I asked you to think about tools that you used. Now, Brini Lee talked about therapy, and also Brini Lee talked about dog, stroking the dog or having time to herself and all these other things, and then also complaining on social media, which is another kind of an outlet, another kind of this kind of sacrament of this religion. Okay, another kind of thing that it needs to be done every once in a while is to come out and talk about it's okay not to be okay, and I'm not okay, and forgive me or look at me or whatever. So, what were the tools, or what are the tools that you used? Were there apps? Were there videos? Was it a course? How did you go through your self-improvement journey?
It started with books. So I started reading a couple of Eckhart Tolle books, although, I mean, it's something I might have talked already about in some of my other videos, but it's, you kind of have to be at a certain point in your life, or I guess like curiosity, for you to actually understand, what you're reading. And, when I started reading Power Now, I totally didn't get it because, I just wasn't open-minded enough to that. And then sometime later on, someone had told me about his other book, which was a lot easier to understand. So I was just like, wow, like this really clicked. So it really started with some books. I tried some other similar ones. I have some Deepak Chopra. I have, who's the guy that did the 4 agreements? That one, I forgot.
Don Miguel?
Yeah.
Miguel Luis. Yeah.
And I started reading his, but for some reason, like, it just didn't click. So I just kept trying out different books like that,
So are you more of an Eckhart Tolle type person?
It's interesting. I would say yes, but then I started reading Dr. Joe Dispenza, and that's a whole other like it's a whole other level of like self-awareness. So that one's like still like, I feel like I want to read it again and just really like dig deeper into that. But so books were definitely what helped me, figure some stuff out. Then I started meditating, and the thing was, I started meditating even before I started reading those books. But then when I started reading those books, then meditation made more sense. Like I had that idea where if you meditate, you just clear your mind, whatever. But that's not really what it's all about. Meditation definitely was I took it to another level when I started reading those books and understanding the mind and the ego and self-awareness. It was that. So I use an app for meditation. And what else? I had dogs growing up. I don't know if that was a tool, but I guess just in my adult life in the last 5-10 years, definitely books and meditation were mainly the tools that I thought helped me. And I've never done therapy. I'm not really sure how I feel about no drugs. No, no
psychedelics, no ayahuasca ceremonies. Or
no,
anything like that?
I
How about
tried
religion? Okay,
religion.
because we know that this is again, to restate one of my premises is that this is a religious, a modern day manifestation of certain religious impulses, right? And that for many people, this is their religion. Going to Tony Robbins and Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, and a little bit of Brini Lee, and a therapist and a Zoloft with a glass of wine is just the right dose of spirituality that they need. But for you, okay, on the religion aspect, was this self-improvement a replacement for religion? Did it affect your religious outlook? Was it in and of itself a spiritual? Was there a spiritual awakening at any point in time involved here?
Yeah, definitely. The spiritual awakening happened after. Where can I say that? So I grew up Catholic. I was baptized Catholic, but I never really connected with the Catholic religion. although it was always kind of in my life. I played music at church, and then in the last 5-10 years, I got more involved with playing church music, but for some reason I still could not connect to that. And then when I did start reading more of these books, and I've met certain people who might have just said something, and I'm just like, whoa, that's kind of when the spiritual awakening started happening, was maybe in the last 10 years, when I realized at least for me, the idea of God, is he this man in the sky kind of idea? But I think, my idea of God became more like someone that's, or something a higher power. I believe in a higher power, but it's within ourselves. We have access to that higher power within ourselves. We don't need to go to church. We don't need a priest or pope or whatever telling us how to live our lives.
You don't need to go to the sky. You don't need to find the sky address.
I don't need to find the sky. I mean, the funny thing is with religion is that, with any religion, whether you're Buddhist or Muslim or Christian, all that, they all talk about the same thing. It's just it's different names, they all talk about the same idea. But I think what's happening, at least for me, is I see it religion kind of just puts you in a box, it just puts you in okay, this is it, and anything outside of that is not good. It's there's just no I don't know. I just feel with religion, there's not enough room for actual spiritual growth, because you're just caught in this identity that I am Christian, I am Muslim, I am Buddhist. I'm it's just an identity thing. And it's just that just didn't, for me, I just didn't connect with that. And that's when I started seeking out, the self-mastery and all that. And I think through the self-mastery, also the spiritual awakening just kept happening, so that's my experience, at least with the self-improvement.
Mm-hmm. Very well put in terms of the tools, okay? Self-mastery, and then measuring via, as we talked about before. But then the tools, you talk about the books, you talk about the finding the particular books that kind of vibe with you. Maybe you're not so much of a Don Miguel, not a Don Miguel kind of guy at all. Just the beginning of the book, the fact that it said the 4 agreements, I just kind of know that, okay, that's not my type of thing. That's not how I roll. I don't want to hear about anything kind of enumerated like that. No, it's not going to work for me. But Eckhart Tolle was part of me realizing certain things. I've always been a meditator.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I was a child, I realized now. I realized for a while ago, but by that I mean that I was always interested in certain things that was going on in my subjective consciousness. That here's one passive activity that I used to do. Okay, I would lay back and I would, in my head, I can make myself feel like I'm spinning, right? So we can spin around as kids, whatever. We play around, that kind of a thing. But I found out that I could do it by simply focus, by attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could focus my attention in such a way that I can make myself feel like I'm spinning. And it was just something I used to do as a kid, right? But so say that to mean that I've always kind of been interested in that kind of introspection into the workings of your actual consciousness, of your perception, and what you can and how you can and cannot interact with it, right? But then Eckhart Tolle kind of gave me that view of that issue of when you say, for example, I can't deal with myself or I can't stand myself. What do you mean by that? What self is I can't stand the other self? Then it now crystallized for me, there is an aspect of yourself, or an aspect of self, if you will, that is kind of that you can observe, okay? Mm-hmm. And the more of it you can observe, generally speaking, the better, okay? And the more in the moment, more present you can actually observe the workings of yourself, the happening of yourself, the better. That is the difference from being triggered versus watching trigger happen and not acting, right? That kind of a thing, right? So that was the beginning for me with Eckhart Tolle. But then I started doing more formal meditations when I was probably 19 and stuff like that, into the Zen Buddhist type stuff, where you get into the breathing, you get into the body, and that's when I started looking into this whole kind of, I broke it down into this basically feeling image talk. But it's through this guy, what's his name? Shinzen Young, right? Shout out to Shinzen Young. looking at things as you're developing this capacity for concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity. Okay, those are the three things. And then you're observing yourself, which is the feelings in your body, the image in your head, and the talk in your head. So that was kind of like my general progression with it. Starting off just doing things as a kid, and then now having a way of categorizing, describing, and communicating, and also picking up. And with regards to tools, if I would answer myself, it's mainly meditative tools having to do with breathing, right? Breathing exercises, using body type stuff like yoga, okay? Getting in certain types of positions and being able to develop a sense of concentration and equanimity enough to hold certain positions and breathing and whatnot. And then also I do a mental type of meditation where you're trying to imagine, okay? And if we can, let's try this, okay, as we close out. Let's try an experiment, Joan. The mental experiment is like this, okay? Imagine that there's a whiteboard. Create a whiteboard, because this is about developing concentration, right? You create a whiteboard in your mind, okay? You can close your eyes and create a whiteboard in your mind, okay? And try to keep the whiteboard as clean as possible, because all kinds of things are going to be floating into the whiteboard, lizards and spiders and pictures of your grandma, all kinds of stuff, right? So try to keep it clean. And then now write the alphabet. Write A, okay? Now keep A there, and then now write B. Keep B there, and then now write C. And then see how far you can go. Holding a whiteboard in your mind and write the whole alphabet, right? So that is a very easy exercise to do, okay? But if you get better and better at that, it is a development of concentration, which is in other words, a universal concentration, which you could use for anything, right? You could use it to write programs, or you could use it to solve math, or you could use it to think about your problem. It's the same kind of basic concentration, right, that you're developing. But also, it's almost like very direct. You can see the improvement. If you can do only up to C today, and then by tomorrow you can do all the way up to M, right? Or not tomorrow, but you get my point.
I got to H just now.
Oh, really? Oh, that's pretty good. So, and then you can develop crazy ones. For example, like I have these ones where it's like you have 3 pots in the middle of the room. One green smoke is coming out of one, blue smoke is coming out of one, and yellow smoke is coming out of one. Now this is in your imagination. Now you hold those smokes and you keep the smokes mixing. That's one thing. And then you have in one corner here, there's this moon with a bird flying through it. So you try to make this complex, 3-dimensional, even movie picture that you keep and control in your mind. Now, this is a very powerful thing that will help you be able to observe when there are flashes of images come up in your head that want to make you do something. Because with any particular type of trigger, let's say, any particular type of trigger, there is a body component, a feeling, and then there is this image component. If you have concentration, it is an important aspect of being able to be removed from this thing. Okay. And so these concentration exercises and then the breathing exercise is more about being able to calm your body down, right? Those are my main tools, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, I think we are approaching we've probably used up your time, Joan. But
good.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about self-improvement. Okay, that's how we get all into this. There's a $12 billion industry, but there is a measurement problem. Okay, what does it mean to be improving? What are we improving in this self-improvement thing? You keep on buying the new tickets, getting in the new funnel, buying the next book, going to the next conference, okay? Buying the next course, okay? We all know about the courses and whatnot. Okay, so it's this religion whereby you're going to assuage your anxieties and you're going to deal with your problems of meaning and your sin and your guilt and your redemption and all that kind of crap. But there is no real measuring. Hence, you have issues such as people talking about it's okay not to be okay, and people complaining as part of their religious sacrament to you about how hard their life is, when indeed it is really easy. And they are priests, okay, many little priestesses, in her case, for example, within the new church of self-improvement, okay? And this is, as A. Hill mentioned earlier, keeping people flocking around them that are envious of their lives, okay? And they're sucking up all this juice while complaining about it to you, Joan, is basically what we discussed. I don't know if you had any kind of closing thoughts or things you want to promote. You're dropping a video on your channel?
Yes, tomorrow. Yeah, yes. Just a little life update. So I'm still working on, my content calendar per se. I guess that's what they call it. But I'm definitely putting out something tomorrow, and then hopefully I can stay consistent, on a schedule like I was. And yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes. I'm trying not to put myself under any pressure of what kind of content to put up. I'm just gonna put out whatever I feel, and like it or not, it's all good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out until next time. Okay, don't you guys did not super chat this time around, but you will be taxed next time, Joan said.
Yep.
Okay,
Raising
'cause
taxes on y'all.
Joan's time is valuable, and if you do seriously now appreciate the show, appreciate the content, appreciate this level of discussion about things that you may consider maybe ephemeral, things that you may be consider topical and trivial and trite, such as the, shall we say, self-improvement industry. If you appreciate the conversations that are honest about it, and that can go into minefields, such as the difference between men and women when it comes to how we encourage each other and how we improve ourselves and how we consider ourselves to, be spiritually whole or mentally healthy, and all these other kinds of things, you should support. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button twice. Go and subscribe to Joan's channels as well. Come back next Wednesday where we'll be reviewing another video, another piece of art or propaganda out there from the social media sphere, and we'll be chiming in as usual. But until then, peace out.
In the den of iniquity, vicinity no pretty, calamity fi hit we any moment, what a pity. Tomorrow never certain, what was behind the curtain, the face of evil lurking with that shifty eyes averting. It's not a steady bubble, that either pop or topple, many will fall and stumble, let the dozers gather rubble. From LA to Colorado, Guinea to Burkina Faso, cannons could breach the towers and the troops will storm the castle. I say, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. With the rubble steady rising, and hearts are compromising. Convictions here are stifling, making evil appetizing. The fists are steady forming, and countenance is falling. Defenses are withdrawing, possibilities are falling. In these your circumstances, evil will make advances. Pick up your sword and lances, and be sure to take your stances. Victory is never promised, the battle is upon us. Gather the brave and honest, and the righteous in your corners.
Eisen in the building. The super chat needs to be recognized. The after show super chat. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Eisen, for dropping the line saying for the pot. Okay, for the show. Very much appreciated. Some say it don't matter what the hell is going on. Remember this song, Joan? Window. We never actually quite recorded Window, and it's an old one. Came to mind. Let's give you a verse and a hook of Window. Wrote this one a long time ago. Okay, at least 10 years ago. Some say it don't matter what the hell is going on, but I hear the chatter. Babylon is going down. Some look into the book. Let me change the key. Some say it don't matter what the hell is going on, but I hear the chatter. The Babylon is going down. I look into the window of the bus as it passes by. Written on the face of passenger number 45. Signs get clearer, like my sinus in the midst of rain. I get nearer to mastering my joy and pain. Some choose to lounge by the fire, sipping champagne, but I choose to remain right by the window, where I see the trees sway as the wind blows. See the rain shatter and the falling of the snow. Greetings to my neighbors as they come and as they go. Yes, it's the rare case. I saw it through the window in my staircase. People filing in the with a smile upon their face. On the windows of my memories, this will be a chase. Ha. Windows Vista down to Windows 7. We coming to bless ya with a window to heaven. Stained glass pieces, backdrop for the sermon. With telekinesis, we'll vanquish the